I must admit, because it was part of the Rangers race as well, so it was quite an amazing sight, I must admit. I've only seen 2 kills, and they've both been at night, so that was it was getting quite exciting because we had the interest from the lions. The one buffalo came down to the water, and the buffalo, whether or not it knew the lions were there, it didn't show any fear, it didn't show any acknowledgement of the lions being there. He just went about his business, he had a drink, and he was probably a good 40 meters away from them. I can't remember the wind. I think I did check the wind, and I don't think the wind was going to him. I think he was coming down towards the lions, so that could account for the fact he didn't know that they were there. And then as he walked around, he actually walked around the back of Jigger, so I actually had to move Jigger out of the way, so obviously not to interfere with anything that the lions were doing or the buffalo were doing, because I didn't want to hide the buffalo from the lions, so I actually backed away to try and obviously give them the edge either way, not to try and sway it at all. And then I had to adjust Jigger again to be behind the pride, and the buffalo actually made its way up onto the road. And I was so, again, in awe what we were seeing. Herman had to say, no, follow, because I just saw the lioness sort of going around the corner, but I was more concerned of getting in the way of anything. So I did hang back, but as I say, I was quite in awe of what we were seeing at that point. First time I've actually seen a hunt going for a buffalo, basically, or lions going for a buffalo. They didn't seem to be too bothered about it. I think there was possibly a couple of full bellies, possibly some inexperience going on there. The one female certainly was very interested, and as I say, that's what the excitement really started kicking off. And the buffalo, you could see he didn't even acknowledge them until this female was about a meter behind him, and she actually ended up jumping into a bush when he turned around. But I don't know if we actually caught that on camera. I didn't get a chance to see. So the buffalo actually sort of shook his head at her, and she jumped into the bush, and then the other young female who was coming in actually went, not too sure about this. It's almost as if she put the brakes on. She was like, you know what, I don't think I'm that hungry. And then the buffalo carried on into the bush. We followed, and as I say, at that point, you had the members who seemed to be fairly keen on it at the front, and the other members were kind of behind, kind of lagging, going, oh, well, let's carry on then. So we were kind of in the middle of it, but as I say, we were trying to sort of keep on the outer edge, and they could pass us quite easily into the bush to go and join them. But at that stage, the buffalo got the better of them and gone on the way, and there was one female actually blocking our path, so we had to go around the back of the bush to try and see, and the buffalo had continued on, so they kind of gave up. But I think there was inexperience there, and as I say, I think it was possibly fairly well fairly well-fed bellies, but the possibility was there for that one female who seemed to be quite hungry. But yeah, as I say, it was very, very exciting, and as I say, we might yet get a kill. No, it's not something that a lot of people want to see, but it is part of nature, and it's a very exciting part of nature you don't always get a chance to see.
Oh, super, and and as Tarek said, I mean. When I was then in the morning, they were all looking well fed, just except that lioness that was not as full as the rest of the other individuals. And again, there's a couple of young males, and when we were with them down there this morning, they were not as relaxed as the lionesses, and I mean. And I'm not too sure how long they were last seen in the Jima Game Reserve. And as I said, man, there's lots of people saying that they've been here many, many times before. But for a new pride of lions being new in the area, and they are obviously unsure about every single corner of the concession or the area, and then they kind of react in a negative way, and you'll see that they don't tolerate any presence of the vehicle, especially if you get too close to them, or if you try and drive around and just to position the vehicle. But one young male, which I think it was the bigger young male, and as we were approaching, from a distance, and then he got up and moved further behind the bushes and lie down there. But the lionesses were all fine, and then we took a closer look at them, and they didn't react relatively aggressive towards the vehicle. So I think maybe they haven't been in the area for quite a while, so they're still trying to familiarize themselves with the area, that sort of thing. I've seen lions reacting in that kind of behavior, especially if they're brand new in the area. So because, as I said, they're still unsure about what is happening around. And again, every single lodge has got a different game drive vehicle. So some vehicles are brown, like we had Aratusa vehicle at the sighting in the brown, and our Jigga is green, and again the rest of the Jima game drive vehicles are also green. That also sometimes makes a difference to the lions. So you see this color of the vehicle and you see the other color of the vehicle, and where they come from, they aren't used to the brown or red color of the vehicle. So that is also possible. And Toto, just a quick one. And while you were there, did this young mouse, did he react in a different way or in an unusual way?
I'm just trying to think now you come to mention it. The male was a little bit uneasy. He didn't react, but he certainly looked at us, and he was actually the first one that I saw from across the dam. We were actually busy looking for a giraffe to tick off the giraffe on the list, and I ended up seeing the lion instead. So as we pulled in, he did watch us, and the females actually came down to join him. So he was a little bit edgy, but not sort of moving away from us.
Oh wow, maybe because, as I said, is because there were two game drive vehicles from Aratusa, and they were completely different colors to a Jima game drive vehicle. So that could have been a little bit of a problem with this youngster.
We were on our own as well.
Oh, okay, that's possibly why. And we're just gonna quickly move to the last clip, and then it's about Gorilla and the two boys on the Impala kill just off Impala Plains powerlanded area. Well, I think that that must have been the highlight of the weekend, or of that morning drive, and the Gorilla and the both boys up in the tree and feeding on the Impala kill. It was not a very big male Impala. It must have been just about 6 or 7 months old young male Impala that the mother killed. And very interesting behavior that from Misha up in the tree there, lying on top of the kill and resting there. And when we got there, and he was like lying, his head was like on top of the meat and the branch, and then his paw on the head, and he got up and started feeding, and literally he just started hissing at his brother, Nduna on the ground, and Nduna on the ground, and he hissed it out. So he obviously didn't know what his brother up in the tree was hissing at. So he thought, man, we did something on the vehicle, and he hissed back to us. But Misha was actually hissing at him as he was starting to feed on the leftovers of the impala. And there was not much meat left there, and it was not as full as his brother. So what I presume then Nduna could have got the fish before Misha. And that's why he was not as full as his brother. And then the mother was obviously not as full, but Nduna was looking extremely full, and his stomach was like big and round, hanging like a balloon. And Kurila also got up and she moved just on the base of the tree as Misha was eating and was dropping the pieces of bones and stuff on the ground, and sitting underneath the tree there, and you can actually hear the Misha crunching the skull of that young male impala. It was amazing. It was like something that, and obviously the skull was not solid, as it was a young male impala. So it was an incredible sighting, I must say. And Nduna eventually got up and walked further away, as Misha was continuously hissing at them, and was just looking around just the proximate vicinity if there was no hyena moving into the area, but it was actually not. So he was also confused what was happening over there. So folks, it has been a wonderful. It has been such a wonderful sighting that I witnessed that day, and later in the afternoon, as there was not much meat left in the carcass, the mother and the both boys left and they headed up to the north, and the boys come back to the area where the kill was, but there was obviously not much meat left in the carcass. And again, this morning we found them at the same tree, which was amazing. So they obviously come back to look for food again, but there was nothing left there. So that was a fantastic, guys, and that's all what we've seen for the past few days or so. And as I said, we have such an awesome sightings in the Western Ngari. Many different lions, cheetahs, and leopards came through into the area. And then I hope that cheetah will come back again to Western Ngari. And the 6 bars are also not too far from us, so there might be some chances coming through onto our concession maybe tomorrow or the next couple of days or so. So from me, Patrick, thanks very much for joining me. It has been such a wonderful show, and I hope there are lots of comments and questions. I'll try and go through them tomorrow morning after draft. And from me, cheerio, I'll see you in the draft tomorrow in the morning, same time, 6:30 Central African time. I'm just going to quickly hand over to okay, sorry. Okay, I'm just listening to the radio at the same time. I'm just going to quickly hand over to my colleague Tara, just to also say thank you and cheers.
Thanks so much, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll say goodnight for myself as well. Cheerio.